Last year at the WTA Finals, Elina Svitolina was perfect. Well, her record was perfect. The matches she won were complicated. Svitolina went 5-0, but the last 4 matches all went 3 sets, including a come-from-behind win in the final against Sloane Stephens, and that is how Svitolina won the title a year ago. As we welcome you back to TC Live. So if you count those 5 wins from a year ago, the 3 wins that she has this year in the round robin, plus 1 win from the end of 2017, riding a 9-match win streak at the WTA Finals. Jimmy, not bad for the 8th seed, right?
Not bad at all, and she's defending her title pretty well. And she's doing it in one part of her game that's really shocking me is the number of aces. 2 matches in a row. She had 16 aces today in this match. She had 11 in the round before. You don't think of Svitolina as a attacker. The first set, it was Bencic that really had the edge, was more aggressive in the far court. You see her finishing it with that backhand approach down the line. She then, at 5-6 in the first set, before Svitolina was serving, she took an injury timeout, which I wasn't crazy about. And of course, Svitolina lost serve. But as the match wore on, the injury started to get worse. At first, it was the back. Then all of a sudden in the second set, it was her foot that started bothering her. It looked to me like plantar fasciitis, possibly, because she got a rubber ball to roll on the arch of her foot, which is one of the ways you try to deal with that. She had cramping issues in her hamstring. It was just a tough day for Bencic.
A lot of treatment
in the
going
end of the
on.
day. And she spent a whole lot of time getting treated. And for Svitolina, she kept her mind. That was the toughest thing for her. She recognized her opponent's a little injured, but she still had to play at a pretty good level because Bencic was playing a dangerous style, taking it early and going for shots.
This is where it ended at 4-1 in the third, and Bencic could not go any longer, so she went and shook hands. And so Svitolina's back into the final. Amazingly, the first final she's made since winning this tournament a year ago. Here is Elina after the match.
Well, when I was coming to this tournament, definitely I was expecting very, very tough matches. And it's the last tournament of the season. Tomorrow is the last match of the season, finally. And yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to leave everything on the court to try to rise the cup again.
So it's hard to remember at this point that there was about a 3-month stretch earlier this year where Svitolina could barely win a match. And then ever since Wimbledon, she's been kind of on a tear. Have you been able to tell from watching her play what's picked up for her?
Yeah, it's been interesting for a player that plays both offense and defense well. And she went through that lull. What I liked is there was no panic. There was no panic from Svitolina or her camp or changing coaches or doing anything drastic. She just went back to work, started to try and figure out, okay, when do I want to play offense? When do I want to play defense? She's worked on her serve an awful lot to try and get free points with that. She's worked on her forehand to make that a finishing shot. But she was overplaying for a few months, trying to play almost too big of tennis. It just seems like everything has fallen into place again at this tournament. This court plays slow. It's indoors. She likes these conditions. The other players don't. At the end of that match, Belinda Bencic talked at length about the court and how slow it is and how hard it is at the end of the season to play through a court that's slow physically if you're a little bit banged up. Elina Svitolina, she's embraced it, played her best tennis this week and done a great job of doing what she does well at the right time.
The only thing I can't quite understand is they keep talking about how slow the court is. Everyone's been telling us the court's very slow. She has 27 aces, and it's John Isner numbers sort of in her last 2 matches. It doesn't make any sense how she's getting so many free points with her serve. She's hitting her spots, obviously, but if she can keep serving like that, she's going to be very tough to beat because she started her career as a defender, and now she's getting some offensive weapons and starting to believe in herself, finally in Grand Slams, making a couple of semifinals. All those things bode well for her.
So Svitolina into the final. We do tip the cap to Belinda Bencic, who, despite the retirement today, ends the year with 11 top 10 wins. This would be the other semifinal, and we look at the UTR between 1 and 2 in the rankings. What does the UTR tell us?
Yeah, it can't get much closer. These two, both of these players have been playing exceptional tennis. Pliskova with the 3-month UTR edge, but the overall edge to Barty. And Brett, this was the first match of all year of WTA number 1 versus WTA number 2, and it came at the last tournament of the year in the semifinal. And it was Karolina Pliskova in the beginning who started off well. She was serving great. She was able to push Barty back. She was controlling the match from the baseline, and that's when Pliskova is at her best. Again, you talk about Svitolina's serve. The same has been true for Pliskova. She's really used her biggest weapon so well this week. But she had chances early in the second set. She had a couple of break points. And on this one here, doesn't do enough with this volley. Barty, a perfect lob. And just like that, the momentum of the match shifted. Barty got more confident. Pliskova lost her energy, got a little bit down on herself, didn't have quite the same spark that Barty has running around the court, playing her all-court style of tennis, started to get more forehands, and Pliskova wasn't able to dictate play anymore.
11 out of 12 break points saved by Barty in the match as she gets through this third set and makes her sixth final of the year, Jimmy.
Look, it really, from the second set, what happened that was interesting was one love 40 down, and she had been being dominated. All of a sudden, when she held that game, as Lindsay said, that turned the match around, and Barty never really relinquished that edge the rest of the way. She barely lost points, Barty, the rest of the match on her serve.
All right, so Barty gets through. What a year. Year-end #1 Grand Slam champion now. A chance to win the WTA finals. It'll be Barty against Svitolina. 6:30 a.m. Eastern live coverage begins tomorrow morning on Tennis Channel. Don't forget to turn your clocks back